Thank you for joining. This is Michael Miller, and I'm with Miami's Community News. And our guest today is the Rabbi Yossi Harlig from what's the name of that? From the Chabad of Kendall and Pinecrest. Welcome, and Friendship Circle.
Thank you.
Rabbi, thank you for being here.
Look this way now.
You can look this way. It's going to be perfect. So you just got back from a trip overseas. Tell us about that.
Yes, so we went on this Israel celebrating 75th anniversary, and since 1948. And so the Miami mission brought over 800 people from our community.
From Miami.
Just from Miami to be in Israel during that celebration. Before that, 200 people from that group went first to Poland, called the March of the Living, which every year around Yom HaShoah, the Day of Remembrance of the Holocaust, people go to the death camps and the concentration camps, and they're there for the Yom HaShoah. It's a day of remembrance for the Holocaust. And you go through, very impactful, painful, inspirational few days walking through those camps where over 6 million Jews were murdered.
So you've been there several times.
My third time, yes.
The third time. Tell us about, so 3 times you've lived that life for your entire life of understanding what happened. How does it still impact you every day?
It's interesting. Actually, 10 years ago, I was asked by an individual to go on the March of the Living, to go to Poland, because he said the Holocaust survivors are passing away, and you want to experience it going with them to the places that they walked in the death camps. And I said, I tell you the truth, I have no interest. I actually never liked reading about the Holocaust, even though I knew about it. I didn't like watching movies about the Holocaust, because I said, why would I want to read something so painful? It's not a topic I want. But I went, and I must admit, I didn't know much about it. I knew the basics. And I remember landing in Poland 10 years ago, 2013. We got off the plane, went on a bus. It happened to be snowing then. It was in mid-April, towards the end of April. And we went straight to Treblinka. It was snowing. And when they started telling me over 850 men, women, and children were murdered in this area, my head started spinning. And then when I went to Auschwitz and I stood with Holocaust survivors, at the spot where Mengele and other Nazi Machshemai told them to separate from their fathers and mothers and brothers and sisters and siblings, separated. They never saw each other again. And I walked through with them. It was such a shock to me. And you may say, what was the shock? You don't know about the Holocaust? The shock is that there was such a system put into place with very sophisticated people. Their system was, how do we wipe out a race? And it was like, I was there for 4 or 5 days. I made a mistake. I did not go to Israel, which is a big mistake right away. I came back home. And I remember getting on the plane and wondering, where was the world when this was happening? Where were my parents? Where were my grandparents? What was going on? And from that point forward, I must have read 30 books, watched every documentary on it, and I really became very engrossed in this topic. Going there doesn't become more clarity. Going there, you get more questions. You're more in shock that something like this could happen in that way. Now, there's a lot of people that kill people. That happens. But a system, organized system, efficient way, like a factory to wipe out a people, that has never happened before. And God willing, will never happen again. I remember standing with David Mermelstein. You know David Mermelstein?
Yes.
And he stood there with me on the line in Auschwitz. And he tells the whole story how he got there. And then he's standing on line, and someone comes over to him and asks him, how old are you, David? He said, I'm 15. He says, no, you're 17. He said, again, how old are you? He says, no, I'm 15. The guy said, no, you're 17. So they told him, so he goes to the end of the line. They ask him, how old are you? He said, 17. So they send him to one line, and his grandparents and his older parents and his young siblings went to the other line. He didn't know what that meant. That day, 17 and 0 are going to be alive, and the one to go into the left are going to the gas chambers. But he didn't realize. He tells me the story. We're standing at the spot. Then he goes to they give him a change of clothes. He goes into one of the bunkers. And then he asks them naively, the other prisoners who were there already a while, when am I going to see my parents, my grandparents, my siblings? When am I going to see them? They don't answer. Finally, they open up the door. Listen to this. They point to the sky. You see that smoke going up? That's who your family is. That's how they found out. So when you stand in that spot and you see it, it becomes so real. And I think it's very impactful. But the biggest impact it had on me, a lot of things, but one of the things I think is the 6 million that died and millions other died They passed away. It's 250,000 or 300,000, whatever the number was, of survivors. That the hell that they had to go through. And not only did they survive, but they build the world that we're in now. They build the Israel we're in now. They build the world. So many survivors, the ones that build the countries that we're in. To me, they're my greatest inspiration because so much of us complain about little things that go wrong in our life. And to me, the survivors are the greatest hero in our generation. And it is, now why it was 10 years ago when I did a big mistake, is I went straight from Poland back to America. So when I came home, my head was still in the concentration camp. My head was still in the crematorium. My head was still in Majdanek and Treblinka and all that. When you go to Israel, you see the greatest miracle in the history of the world. Because what happens when you go to Israel is that you go from the greatest darkness to the greatest light. I remember Wednesday I was in Majdanek, where you see the actual crematorium and gas chambers, and you see where the death and destruction was. And then the next day you go to Israel and you go to Kotel and you see hundreds of teenagers dancing and singing. I say, this is the greatest miracle in the history of the world. We are living today in the most miraculous times because there was never a darker period than the 1939 to 1945. I think 50 million people were killed. And 75 years later, you see so much light. That the contrast is unbelievable. So now when you leave the hell of Poland and you go to Israel, it's like, wow, that's a miracle.
There's an old saying in nature that right before the sun shines, it's the darkest and it's the coldest.
Yes.
So we're delighted that you did that. Now we have some things that are coming up. So tell us about some events from Chabad and from the Friendship Circle.
Right. So this Sunday we have our big walkathon, which you could still go online and register to come to the walk and donate to the walk. So that walkathon raises money, much needed funds for the program that we run. We run over 26 programs of Friendship Circle, and that's a very important program. And we're right now in the middle of construction. Everyone who passed 87th Avenue, 112th Street, everyone who stops and says, well, Rabbi, what's being built there? We're building a beautiful center for Chabad and for Friendship Circle. Chabad is a program that's an outreach organization for the Jewish community. And the Friendship Circle is a non-sectarian. It's out for the whole community, two separate organizations, where it helps children with special needs. And I can tell you from when we opened this camp, we started construction and we have a wrap around the building, we're getting so many more calls of families that say, we have a child with special needs, can you be there and help them? And our program has grown and our staff is growing. It's really exciting.
Can we? Do you have any videos on your website?
Yes.
Can you, Alex? You want to see if you can find those? And then when we find them, we'll try to put them up. So in the meanwhile, the new construction is about 20,000 feet, split between Chabad and the Friendship Circle.
Correct. So it's going to be a multi-purpose building, meaning a lot of the programs when we run a Friendship Circle, we're not running Chabad programs. That's the great thing. You don't want to build rooms just for one thing. So most of our rooms could be functioning for both. Let's use a sanctuary. Sanctuary is a place for prayer on Saturday. But then on Sunday, we could run programs and concerts and lectures for Friendship Circle. We have rooms, let's say for religious school, and then we have rooms to run art and music and dance for Friendship Circle. So it's really a multi-purpose building that's able to run a lot of the programs. Some of the rooms are just earmarked for Friendship Circle.
So you and your wife years ago started realizing about the Friendship Circles across the country.
Correct.
What caused you to say, this is it, this is the one we should be more involved with? Because
This program, you mean?
Yes, because there are many options to help.
Yeah, it's interesting. So we moved there in 1995. So General Chabad goes to a community and to help the community. You look what that community needs. And every community is different. Some people need more prayers. Some people need a day school. Some people, whatever it may be. 2003, we heard about this program that just started in Michigan.
Hold on one thing. Alex, if you find it, put it up on the screen and we'll see it and we'll talk about it.
We are standing at a very special moment and a very special place. Over 2.5 acres is a beautiful campus being built. A friendship campus is where every child with special needs, every young adult with special needs could call it their home.
The incredible potential that this campus is going to bring to our community right here in the heart of South Dade on the busiest intersection in our community.
Seeing is believing, So come with Nechama and I, and let's give you a tour of what's happening right now as the campus goes up.
As they walk in, there will be a beautiful reception area, interactive wall art.
Each room has a different theme.
If you come right over here, you'll see the life skills room. Right over here is going to be a washer and dryer. We're going to have a portable closet. We're going to have a desk. We're going to have a small kitchen. And children and teens and adults with special needs will learn how to function in their home.
Nechama, why don't you share what's going to be at this side?
And right over here, we're going to have a designated music room. The kids are learning ukulele, they're learning the drum. There were years we did the guitar. And we really want to have a special space for our participants to enjoy music at its fullest.
Right now, we're going to the art room.
We have a program called Art Circle, where our participants make beautiful art using all kinds of materials. And I envision beautiful art hanging all over the walls, showing our kids' talent and creativity.
One of the things I love about walking down these hallways is seeing the tall ceilings that we're going to have. It's going to be so welcoming. You feel like you're walking in a palace.
Yep, and right here is where the multi-purpose room is going to be. And that is going to be such a fun room. In the center, there's going to be a ball pit, like a trampoline. On that wall over there, there's going to be a rock climbing wall. There's going to be some therapy swings hanging from the ceiling. We're also going to have a wall with mirrors and hooks, so we can use this room for karate or for dance. And we envision so much play and fun and interaction and friendship happening right here in this room. And from this room, we can walk right out to the playground.
Nechama, hearing you say this is unbelievable. 18 years of us talking about it and planning and dreaming about it, and now we actually see it becoming a reality. It's something that I have to pinch myself. Is this really true?
In working with our children, sometimes they have a meltdown, and we really want to help them. We want to help them calm down, soothe themselves, and be able to go back and integrate into the program. This room right here is called a snoozle room, and this is a room with very specialized equipment and sound and music that's going to really calm our participants down, let them have that time, and get back to themselves so they can join our programs. In every program, there is a one-to-one pairing between a typical teen and a participant with special needs. And that's what's so unique about that friendship circle. And we want to show our volunteers appreciation, and we want to foster awareness. This is going to be a lounge where our volunteers can hang out. There'll be a couch. There will be an ice cream machine, a Slurpee machine.
This really is the heartbeat of the program, our volunteers. And now I'm going to give you a tour of the North Building. This is the front entrance. Come join me as we take a tour in this building. Now you're standing in the state-of-the-art lobby. Look around the beautiful big room. Here, to this side, we're going to have our offices. They're going to welcome the families and the participants when you come in. And right over here, we're going to have a big, beautiful donor wall. Nechama, why don't we take them into this room?
Okay, follow me. This is going to be the magnificent Sanctuary and Social Hall. This is where all the beautiful events will be taking place. God willing, next year's Friendship Circle Heart and Soul Gala of 2024 will take place right here in this incredible room. We'll have the Morning of Talents here, Evening of Tribute. All of our special functions will take place right here with these 30-foot ceiling and just beautiful decor.
On this stage, the children will be able to perform and for their families.
Adjacent to the social hall is going to be our commercial kitchen. This kitchen is going to serve as a cooking studio where we'll have weekly cooking classes. We'll also have a friendship bakery for the adults. The adults will make challah and baked goods, and we will sell it to the community. One of the things we really like to provide parents with is a network of support. And they create that network of support by meeting other parents and being able to socialize. And what better when they drop off their kids and they could just walk into this beautiful room, which is called our parent lounge. Sit on a comfortable couch, enjoy a cup of coffee, maybe use the computer, and talk to other parents who are sharing a similar journey. We're very excited about this parent lounge, along with our project Lifeline, where we help parents navigate the journey of raising a child with special needs.
We tell the parents, You're not doing this journey all alone. This room is a place where they're going to be able to get their love and support with each other and from each other. We spoke about building a campus. Now you can see it actually going up. This is a very exciting time.
Seeing is believing. You just got a tour of the beautiful Friendship campus, and now there's just one last step.
The last step is you could partner with us to open up this beautiful campus. The workers are here building, and we need to finish the capital campaign in order to open up this beautiful campus. Please join us.
Can't wait to see you at the grand opening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Incredible.
Yes.
I am stunned, all right, that you and your team and your wife had that vision to take it from just a mere thought to this, and the thousands of people that you're helping. Just
I appreciate it. You know, it's what drives us is seeing the lives that we're able to impact and the people that need. You know, we started this Lifeline project. Do you know about that project? Where a mother unfortunately drowned her kid
yes.
a few years ago. And we spoke to other parents of special needs, and they said I didn't know the mother, but I found out that she was actually a very dedicated mother. And you speak to a parent of raising a child with special needs, a lot of them say they were on that bridge. They know the pain and the difficulty and the loneliness and the stress of raising a child with special needs. And we started thinking, what can we do to help families, help parents? So as a spin-off of Friendship Circle, we started something called Project Lifeline, that if you find out your child is diagnosed, we don't want, a lot of times you go to, there's a lot of great organizations, but you go there, they give you brochures. Go take this brochure, read about it, to call this place, and what, they go to their car and they start crying, it's overwhelming. And we said, we're not gonna give you brochures, we're gonna make the calls for you. We do intake, we have a social worker, and it's grown a lot. We have to hire more social workers. It's called Lifeline. It's like really being a lifeline to families. And we've been there for families who lost spouses, who are really breaking down and losing it. And we were there not just giving them advice, but not just holding their hand, but leading the way for them.
And certainly part of that is that people want to have a level of comfort, that someone can take them on that journey and show them the options that are available. And without that, the people that are having that, the patient, the family member, impacts the healthcare giver with that. And I know that it's very, very stressful, and they don't think right some of the times, and they certainly need that.
They become like frozen.
Yes. So you're going to have a celebration for this walkathon. So tell us where that's going to be.
It's going to be at Indian Hammond's Park. You know where that is? Off on east of 107th Avenue, east like 84th Street. There's going to be 8 to 9, as you can see, the website is in the bottom. 8 to 9 is registration, 9 to 10 is the walk, and then 10 to 12 is going to be the carnival. There'll be a lot of families for Friendship Circle, there'll be community people. It's just, a $20 minimum donation to come in. If you can't afford it, obviously, we don't charge. That will cover, some snacks, rides. We want the families to enjoy it. And that's something that, brings the community together. That's something that's, super important.
So inquiring minds want to know, what's next? So you have this pretty well, all right, taken care of, all right? We know that plans take a long time. I think you mentioned that video that it was 19 years before.
Yeah, we bought the second, 2003. It's been a long time.
Okay, so I know you're 49 or something like that. So let's look out as Friendship Circle continues to be successful and running as it should, and you start a Lifeline. What do you see in 5 years?
I see my staff want to kill me, but the next few things I would like to do.
Are you listening, staff?
Yes, the next few things. I have an amazing staff. Our staff has grown. You have to realize we're doing two things at the same time. We're building a campus and building an organization at the same time. We went from like 3-4 staff today to close to 15 staff members. We have over 15 staff working for us now, between Chabad and Friendship Circle. My next two things is I want to open a kosher restaurant staffed by special needs. And it should be for not only people that keep kosher. I've seen other Friendship Circles, one other one that's done it, a good restaurant that, I'm not sure if it's a breakfast, lunch place, that happens to be kosher, not that people that want to eat kosher go there. So that's, maybe we'll partner with a franchise, but it'll be work with the Friendship Circle concept, like the staff will be high functioning on the spectrum. They could be a part of it. I think that's going to be successful. Plus kosher food, because down in South Dade, if you want to eat kosher food, you have nowhere to eat. The second thing we would like to do is, for Friendship Circle, is go into mental health for teenagers. I deal with that all the time. That's kind of, because we deal with a lot, we're the largest teen organization. And there's a lot of issues with mental health and depression. And you see how much Friendship Circle has an impact on the volunteers in a positive way. A lot of parents tell me, I was just having a conversation today, that, you see my kid very different than the way he's at home. In Friendship Circle, he's so giving and so loving. At home, we have issues, depression, other issues. I believe you matter. That's a big thing in mental health, and that's another place I want to go.
Certainly, in the last couple 5 years, that the mental health issue seems to have moved up, and it's not so much hidden in the shadows.
Correct.
And it's gotten a little more comfortable for people to talk about it. Where there was some national publicity, one of the big swimmers said he was depressed, and you can do that, and it's not so hidden and not so embarrassing. You could have a broken arm and you could almost brag about it, right? But you have a broken heart and your mind and your soul is hurt. What do people do? And so we know that a lot of people go inward, and so we hope that we can get some help. We work closely with NAMI, National Association of Mental Illness. Susan over there certainly opened our eyes a little bit more than they were opened, before.
Right. So since we have the inroads already with the teenagers, we're ripe for this. Is like kind of a good extension. It's not of what we do. We're all about helping, making a difference in people's lives. And I'm a big believer you can save one person's life, it's saving the world.
And truly, and if you're a healthcare provider and you help this one child there, you're helping the whole family.
Yes.
And then you realize you help a lot of people. It's a lot of families, and pretty soon it's a community.
Right.
And we see that, and we hope that Miami-Dade County puts aside some more assets for mental health care.
I feel we've been very blessed. From our mayor and our commissioners have been big supporters of Friendship Circle. The state has also been, I think, we're blessed that in today's days, I find that a lot of the county and government are starting to understand. First, it's impacting their own families. They know people with special needs or mental health, and they want to get more behind it. And we're the front line people dealing directly with them. Another place I'm going to go to is working with first responders, that they should have more experience dealing with special needs, like police and fire. I'm a chaplain in Miami-Dade. I just became a chaplain now for Miami-Dade Fire Department. I just became a chaplain. So I work very closely with first responders. And, we got to open up our eyes. It's interesting. Michael, you'll appreciate what I'm about to say. One of the most powerful things that are going on in these missions is that you get to sit in a bus with people that you don't know and you start conversations. Most people go to dinner, go on vacations, go to ball games with the same 5, 6 boring friends they have. And not so boring, but a lot of them are pretty boring. Same friends they have. They don't go out of the circle. I found that these trips, you sit down for breakfast in a hotel with another couple you don't know, you start talking. First of all, you realize you connect with each other. Oh, so-and-so, it's my brother-in-law, my nephew. There's so much interconnection. I'm sure when you stop in a restaurant, you start talking to someone, right away people start talking. One of those beautiful things on these missions is, and we don't do it enough, is people go out of their own little circle of friends, they start talking to other people, and then there's so many people's lives that you could change. I was just doing a Friendship Circle Kippah. 3 people stopped me. Oh, I go to Friendship Circle in Pittsburgh. I go to Friendship Circle there. Oh, and then we found out that they were at my niece's wedding because they were friends with the other rabbi. I was in another city in Israel. They went to school, that the rabbi's son was a good friend of mine. I was talking to another person that me and him share a very close friend. Do you ever do that? You start talking to people? You do it all day because you're sitting at these shows. Most people don't do it.
So we understand about the comfort, circle just keeps getting smaller and smaller, and then it's hard to break out of that. Let's talk, if we could, about the popularity of Chabad. Seems that certainly in the last 15 years it's grown mammothly. Why is that?
Right. So today we have, close to 4,000 Chabad centers because the model, every organization, company has their model. The model that Chabad had is a model that really, go back 100 years ago in Europe. Every community had a synagogue and you had to belong to that synagogue and you were the only synagogue in town. Chabad's model was, don't build a building and people have to conform to the building. Find the people what they need and be there for the people. And people really, really appreciate that and really are attracted to that. Because, take for example, you have your needs, your comfort level for Judaism. Your wife has their, your daughter has their own. So sometimes if you go to a synagogue, you'll say, okay, this synagogue works for me because this is my comfort level. Or not my comfort level. Chabad, what we try to do is, based on the Lubavitcher Rebbe's teaching, is focusing on what does the person need, what does the person want. Be there for the person and focus on their life and be there and show them that you really care for them.
I was at a funeral and the minister happened to be a woman. She said, we're going to do the prayer. Please join us on whatever level you're okay with. And when she said that, I was probably more involved by her saying that than ever before because she's recognizing the needs of people there are different. Some want to be all the way in, some are halfway in, some are a little, or maybe some not at all. So in Miami-Dade County.
And so Chabad, also the other difference is Chabad goes to the community and stays there. Meaning a lot of other organizations, there's the rabbi, there's the director. Either if they don't like them, tell them have a nice day, or if they're very good, they sometimes move to the next town for a better gig. Chabad, when you get your post, you're there for life. So you much inroads. Like I'm here since 1995. Me and you know each other for like 15, 18 years. We're we're here for the long run. We're here staying in the community, even if people move away. So the longevity and the relationships, you can't.
So even though the leadership of each of the bonds is Orthodox, the members do not have to be on the same level of Orthodoxism.
Correct. Most Chabad in Miami, I would say, or most places, the people that pray in the synagogue are not Orthodox. And they come. And a lot of people may not be comfortable praying in your synagogue because they're not comfortable with men and women sitting separate. But I could be their go-to person. If they have a crisis, they're going to call me. They may not like to pray in my synagogue, but they want to come to adult education classes or come to study Torah with us. So it's not all or nothing. It's not like, I'm not going to go to Chabad for adult education class because I don't pray there. We make it very clear. It's like a buffet. Take what you can, what inspires you today, and what inspires you in a few years from today may be different than what inspires you today.
Okay, so let's talk about where and how you get your inspiration. Where does it come from?
Very good. My inspiration comes from three places. One is the Lubavitcher Rebbe, my spiritual leader, the one who founded the Chabad Hasidic movement, the one I was blessed with to be raised in his community and raised next to him. The Rebbe was the one who inspired us or instilled in us the value of every day we wake up in the morning, you say, how can I make the world a holier place? How can I make the world a better place? How could I change every life? And the Rebbe also instilled in us that there's no situation you're in because you're stuck in the situation. Every situation you're in, there's a purpose and a meaning. It may not be comfortable, it may be painful, you may rather be somewhere else, but there's a reason why you're there. That's one place that I get my inspiration. I get inspiration from what I study, and then I get inspiration from the people I meet. People I meet are very inspiring to look how they live their lives and how they make a difference. So those are the people, when I go and see my staff and the volunteers who are out there trying to make a difference, it inspires me that, I got to continue to make a difference.
So as I go through life, I finally figured out after all these years that some people want to live their passion, and there's somebody locally, Dr. Tina Carroll Scott, who, pediatrician, 17 years ago, she left a pediatric practice in Pearl Harbor, and because she wanted to practice medicine in the underserved areas. So for almost 20 years, she has served the people that she wanted to serve.
Wow.
Giving up lots of stuff, money, in order to do that. And so we know that there are people that are inspired by not just helping, but seeing the result of that help and raising healthier families and changing the community.
Yeah, it inspires me. I was in Israel with an organization called Shalva. This guy who had a special needs child became blind through a crazy accident. and he was a simple businessman. Today he has a 200,000 square foot, $35 million building he built. And his daughter gives a tour. He said, one thing about my parents, they're the most impractical people that you'll ever meet. If they were practical, they would never build this place because they wouldn't, if you're a practical person, it's not possible to build it. They're not practical people. And there was another line, dream big. And that's the motto I live by. I love having something in front of me that's not practical. We're going to figure out and doing it. And a lot of people that work with me have a very hard time. You know, at boards, hopefully if they're listening, and, oh, Rabbi, how are we going to do it? We don't have the money. I always try to explain to them, if I had that attitude, I wouldn't be here today. I couldn't even afford my deposit. So whenever I'm in a situation that I have no idea how we're going to do it, those are the situations I get excited.
There's that old saying, nobody ever got anything great by thinking small. This month, I guess last month, was the anniversary of Roger Bannister, who in April 1954 set a first-time world record of running a sub 4-minute mile.
Right.
Prior to that, the doctor said, you'll have a heart attack. You know, the same year that he ran that, more than 10 people the same year ran that. Now there are over 20,000 people, maybe 25,000 people that have done that, including high school students. Because when you think that it can't be done, all right, then all of a sudden, then you might not start. But the reality is when it gets done, you say, well, of course. And we think of the changes of the internet. Imagine 30 years ago, the internet, now there's AI, and you have all this stuff that's going around. Yes, we have to be dreamers and we have to think big. And you are certainly thinking big. Rabbi Yossi Harlig.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to say, see you later. Folks, thank you for joining us again. Friendship Circle, you can go to their website right now.
For the walkathon, walking for friendship, the number for friendship.com. Hopefully join us at the walk and join us for getting involved in building this campus.
Folks, have a great day. And Alex, thank you for producing the show. Have a good day, folks.